Your Mac comes set up one way. The same cursor size, the same text, the same motion for everybody. But you are not everybody. Some of these you may already use, so that's fine. Feel free to skip ahead. But a few of them are the ones most people never find, and those are the ones worth staying for. Let's start with the cursor. How many times have you lost that little arrow on the screen, moving the mouse around just to find where it is? What's this? Open System Settings. Click Accessibility, Display. Scroll to Pointer. Some of these controls live inside accessibility, but don't let that label throw you off. These are simply comfort controls built into the Mac. Now drag that slider, and your cursor gets as big and easy to spot as you want. Not childish, just findable, much easier to catch, especially on a busy screen. And right below that, you can give it a color, an outline color that you prefer, and a fill color, a bright cursor that actually stands out against everything on your screen, and the one you may already have without knowing. Give the mouse a quick shake, or your finger a quick wiggle on the trackpad, and the cursor balloons up huge for a second, so you can find it instantly. Now, text. If you ever catch yourself leaning in just to read a line, the problem usually isn't your eyes. It's that your Mac is set smaller than it needs to be. This time, under Accessibility, Display, Text Size, drag this one slider, and the text gets bigger and clearer across the apps you use most. Your mail, your messages, your notes, your Finder, your calendar. Set it up once, and reading stops being a squint. And if you want everything bigger on your screen, not just text, but everything on screen, there is a second way. This one lives in display settings. Here are different resolution settings available. You can choose larger text, and your whole screen scales up. Icons, menus, everything, like your Mac took a step closer to you. And if you choose more space, it goes the other way. You decide how much room you want. But if you want finer control, click Advanced at the bottom, show all resolutions as a list, and you will have even more options to set the screen exactly where it feels right for you. Now you can pick precisely the best possible resolution on your Mac that fits your desk setup and goes easy on your eyes. Now, text. Now here's the one that almost nobody knows about, and it is genuinely useful. Let's say there's one line of tiny text, a phone number, a tracking code, anything, it doesn't matter. It's a small print. You don't need to change anything for the whole system. All you will have to do is hover over the text, hold one key, and it blows up huge. Under Accessibility, hover text, turn it on. From now on, hold Command and point cursor at the text, and a big clear version appears right there. Let go, and it's gone. It's like a magnifying glass built into your Mac that gets activated with just one key wherever you want. From the same window, you can also enable hover typing. So whenever you're typing a text, note, pages, numbers, whatever, there will be a popped up tiny strip that will show you the enlarged version of what you're typing. To many users, it is really helpful. But now let's say you want to zoom the entire screen. There are certain sections like a text, an image, a window in your web browser. You can simply zoom in, zoom out, no problem. However, there are certain sections, if I take example of the system settings window, you cannot zoom in this thing. So this time just go one step back, click on zoom, and enable use a scroll gesture with modifier keys to zoom. And the modifier key is set to control. Now hold control and slide with 2 fingers up. The whole screen zooms right in. Slide down, it zooms back out. Once it is on, it's always there. So now you don't even need a magnifier. Just get used to this one feature. I even use it almost all the time. If there is a small text, You wish to see it bigger, press and hold Control key, just like the way you scroll on your trackpad. Use 2 fingers, up or down. Zoom in, zoom out, just like that. Here is something you might not realize is even happening. Every time you switch between spaces or open apps, the screen slides and zooms to get there. For some people, that motion is just fine, but for some, it is kind of dizzying. If that's you, turn on reduce motion, and all that sliding becomes a gentle, simple fade instead. Say Mac just feels a little more calm. Next one, you may have noticed your Mac has a lot of see-through panels, menus, windows that let the color behind them bleed through. It looks nice, but all that layering can make your screen look a little more cluttered. In fact, it can make the text on those panels harder to read. So under Display, turn on Reduce Transparency, and everything goes solid and clean. The menus at the top sit on the plain background, so the dock. And suddenly it's a lot easier on the eyes. If the buttons and boxes ever seem to blend into background, hard to tell where one thing ends and next one begins, then increase contrast. It sharpens the edges around buttons, boxes, and text, so everything is easier to tell apart. One toggle, and the whole screen looks crisper and more defined. This is about how whole Mac looks. It's called liquid glass. By default, it is set to clear, but you can switch it to tinted, and those glassy panels and menus take on a bit more color and solidity. If the see-through transparent look never felt quite right to you, this is the simple way to make the whole system feel warmer and little more grounded. And soon with the macOS 27 Golden Gate, you will even get a slider to fine-tune exactly how much of that effect you want. Here's another one that trips people up. Ever go to scroll and the scroll bar isn't even there? It only pops up once you start moving. By default, your Mac hides them, but you can change that. In Appearance, set Show Scroll Bars to Always. And now the bar is right there all the time. Easy to see where you are on the page and easy to grab and drag up and down whenever you want. Now let's finish with the dock. That row of the apps at the bottom, it feels too small or too crowded. You can fix all that in seconds. If you want to remove something, pick it and drop it in the middle of the screen that is removed. Majority of Mac users eventually I have seen never removing anything from the dock. They use it as it came. So remove if there's any app you don't use. And from this window, make it bigger with the size slider. Also turn on the magnification. Now each icon grows as your cursor passes over it, so you always know exactly what you are about to click. Before closing the video, let's make one more change. Scroll it down till the bottom, trackpad, and from these sliders, especially the trackpad speed, make the adjustment. If you think it is too sluggish for you, increase the speed. If you feel it is too fast for you, simply reduce the speed. It's a small change, but that makes the whole Mac feel little more in your control. You may have already noticed several of these settings live in accessibility, and that does not mean they're only for one type of a specific user. They're simply built-in Mac controls that can make the screen cleaner, calmer, and more comfortable for anyone. You don't need all these changes. Just find maybe 3 or 4 relevant changes that are really suitable to what you do, how you use your Mac. Anyways, this is pretty much it in this video. If you're ready to step up, here's the next one. And before you click, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe Crazyators for future tech tips, tricks, and solutions. Until next time, you take care of yourself and I will see you in the next one.